It is clear that under Putin, the chatter of lies can occur with any amplitude, but in the story of Prigozhin's PMC, this is already too much. After the hybrid rebellion, Surovikin sits, 30 more generals sit, but not the leader of the rebels. Worse than that, Putin is confusing his tracks by spinning one lie after another. Either he says that the state was the main donor of the ZEK PMC, or he broadcasts that this campaign did not legally exist at all. Even for a cave accustomed to the lies of a bald man, this is too much. Gerasimov's strong-willed decision to dismiss the commander of the 58th Army, Major General Popov, can start the process of growing discontent among the troops. The supply is really bad. It is, of course, good, let the aggressor die, but for the Kremlin, this process can turn into a real rebellion, and not a funny kitchen one, with a fake ladle imitating a sledgehammer. Depth researchers listen to the echoes of explosions near the military airfield of Voronezh and the suburbs of the Kursk nuclear power plant, catching a warm wind in the atmosphere, smelling of gunpowder of war. And they are also looking at the expanding borders of NATO, against which this whole adventure with the war was started. Now it turns out that real achievements overturned the Kremlin's wish list. And if Ukraine has not yet been invited to NATO, it is solely because the officials of this country are so corrupt that Moscow is envious. But the fact of the matter is that the country is entering an electoral cycle, and holding free elections is one of the conditions for Ukraine to further integrate into the civilized world. So the power in Kyiv will most likely change in the spring of 2024, and the process of joining NATO will catch a fresh stream. Not immediately, but in the future, when electoral passions subside in the US and other countries. Everyone in the Kremlin understands this, and they are playing to prolong the war in order to bargain for themselves a kind of hybrid of victory, which can be sold to cavemen without convoys as a great achievement. It is clear that Putin is forever, as long as he is alive and at large. He does not even dare to go to the BRICS summit, because he is afraid of a coup. What if the generals come to an agreement with the schemers and there will be nowhere for the great bald man to return from Johannesburg? And in general, what if this is an intercontinental super-operation to neutralize the great geostrategist? Here they will arrest him, behead the Kremlin, and Mishustin will enter there according to the constitution. And Putin knows his lackeys. They will instantly swear allegiance to the new bald man, recognizing his ass as the sweetest. And this one, for the sake of lifting sanctions, will give up Crimea, and withdraw troops from Ukraine, and release hostages from prisons. So the driven rat rushes about, drawing red-brown lines on the ceiling of the bunker. The main thing that Putin relies on is meat that will lay down with bones, die on the fronts, but slow down the offensive of the armed forces of Ukraine. U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency spokesman John Kirchhofer was forced to admit that military action on both sides had reached a dead end. In his opinion, providing more powerful weapons to Kyiv, including cluster bombs and long-range Storm Shadow missiles, will not fundamentally change the course of the war. None of them, unfortunately, is the holy grail that the Ukrainians are looking for and that will allow him to break through, Kirchhofer noted and added. One of the things that the Russian leadership believes is that they can survive the support West. And it is true. Ukraine, like air, needs some powerful blow that would knock out the dictator. Until now, the tactics of long and tedious winding the enemy's guts around Putin's fist have worked flawlessly. But the very realization that the endless Putin, with all his deadening charms, is once again looming on the political horizon, even pushes the system into action. It will not survive the next 6 years with this giant of geopolitics, but these years will create a 100% reserve for disintegration. Even the rotten blood of the system needs at least some renewal. Chaos in the lower echelons of the rashist army and growing discontent could play into the hands of Ukraine, which this summer has a unique chance to deal Putin a death blow to the Crimean Peninsula, where Khashchev's egg is buried. They will take the Crimea and then no one will give even a drunken Medvedev spit for Putin's head. The system is overcome by fatigue of the material, from bottom to top. On the one hand, the leader orders to wind the guts further, Quietly, on the other hand, he is really fed up with the whole world, and even his accomplices. Stagnation and inflation with sanctions losses drain the cave. This is not the USSR with its uncompetitive, but production. Here everything flies into tartar to the loud fanfare of total lies and the leader's constant demands to present new achievements. On Thursday, the scraps of the frightened scientific community demanded to make a breakthrough in the field of technology. Who will carry it out? Based on what? Even the illogical nature of the cave encourages the solution of the Putin problem. It's time to put a comma in the sentence, remove cannot leave. And there is hope that it will be delivered in the near future. After all, Crimea is ahead for the armed forces of Ukraine, and August for the cave.